The Stephen F. Foster Day $100 budget edition of the Notorious OTB on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. Welcome, everybody, to the Notorious OTB, brought to you by the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. And, folks, as always,
it's all good, baby. It was all a dream.
We used to read Blood Horse magazine. I got my Cuban links on.
Yes, Cuban B.
And I'm your host, Chase Sessoms, the Wolf of Oaklawn.
I'd rather be trapped than lazy. Don't care what they say, I'ma do what pays me.
It happens every year about this time. Weaklings act like they lost their mind. Alphas reclaim the neighborhood. Rob the sheep and all the wolves get good.
Yes. Welcome to the show. Joining me, as always, you might know him as the Michelangelo of the Crying Michael Jordan. He's your favorite capper's favorite capper. Ladies and gentlemen, Barry the Sniper Spears.
Hey, don't rub on that. You block that. You understand? That's alpaca. That's $25,000 alpaca. You block that shit. Right. You don't rubble. Put the club soda on there.
Barry, welcome back. We missed you.
Hey. You don't rub on that.
Yeah. I like to think that it wasn't StreamYard yesterday. It was just that you had like trouble finding your alpaca dry cleaning ticket and you were in an argument.
Yeah, it was awful. I still haven't found it. My alpaca is still blood stained, and I missed the show. So there was nothing good that came out of that at all.
Well, I read your picks. I didn't pretend to know your reasoning because you are the inscrutable, all-knowing Barry.
That you should have just said because he said so.
Because that's pretty much what I did. That's exactly how that shit went down. But. I recapped you, but if you missed the show yesterday, Barry and I wheel for teams randomly, and it just came up me and you. Like, I could have just said that shit instead of having a whole wheel for the entire production. But you're a proud member of Team Steam Urchin. Yeah,
I like that. Steam Urchins are where it's at. It's the new wave, the future.
I like our samurai Steam Urchin, like for sure.
That's pretty gangster, actually.
That urchin fucks. Then we're going against Team Mountain Dew Rockaway. The
Rockaway Bold Edition.
I don't know what to say other than Team Steam Urchin wins just on name alone.
Just on name, yeah. We have much aura. Sorry, very Sarah much. And Matt, but we got you.
But yeah, Barry, you'll have a chance to be named Ultimate Berserker if you're the overall winner of everything. You have a team winner, you have an overall.
Imagine that I'm not on the show and then I do that. That would be something, huh?
That would be that would be a slap in the face. Like if you don't even show up, you literally phone in your picks and you beat us all. I would be pretty pissed. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
No. Well, I hope you're not named Ultimate Berserker now that you put it into perspective for me. Real quick, NASCAR's in-season tournament is running. We're running a free contest. Head to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NASCAR contest for your chance to win a $200 gift card. And make sure to subscribe to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. And, of course, don't forget to go to surebetcoffee.com. Check out our friends, the Sure Betties, because I bet they sure would appreciate it. If you picked up a bag of their Breakaway Bold, remember, $1 out of every bag sold goes to Equine Aftercare and helps take Columbia farmers about the dope game.
It's time to fuck shit up with Sure Bet in your cup.
All right, Barry, let's dive in. Let's talk about it. It's the Thursday big show. Some of you might be saying, but Wolfie, didn't you just have a big show yesterday? Yes, that was different. Sort of. That was an occasion. That was a thing. But now it's the Thursday Big Show. And for our Thursday Big Show, we're going to be looking at the goings on at Churchill Downs this Saturday for the Stephen F. Foster cards. I like to call it the Stephen Foster card. As is tradition, we're going to be breaking this down with a $100 budget. We've dug through this from the rooter to the tutor to give you our best $100 bets. We're looking at Churchill Downs this Saturday, the 28th of June, year of our Lord 2025. Post time for the card is going to be 12:45 p.m. Eastern, 11:45 a.m. God's time, 9:45 a.m. Pacific time. On a specific coast. If you're unfamiliar with the rules, we can play any race, any wager type, whatever makes that cash money. Those bets just have to total up to $100. Let's pull up some past performances. Cheer. Barry, by virtue of how numbers work and also how the alphabet works, because B comes before C, you start us off in race 4 today. What do you got, buddy?
Yeah, this is a nice 62,500 open claimer going a weird distance, 7.5 furlongs. You don't see too many of those. They're starting to write them over at Churchill Downs recently, which is pretty cool because you get the sprinters and you get the longer distance horses kind of meeting in the middle, and makes for interesting competitive races. And that is exactly what we have in race 4. So I thought there was a lot of speed in here, or enough speed to keep this pretty fair as far as the way the race is going to be run. I took my play is in this race, number 10 Classic Car Wash. So we're going to do a $20 win bet on number 10 Classic Car Wash. And I really like this horse's comeback race after a layoff from March 14th. Ran a decent race against some really good horses, including Dragoon Guard, Brad Cox horse there, Tumba Rumba. These horses would be probably odds on in this race. And Classic Car Wash has been hanging with these types, not necessarily winning, but kind of coming close. I think this Class Relief will make all the difference. Almost lays over this field, which is my concern as far as price. But we're going to take that one. $20 to win on number 10 Classic Car Wash. Just start us off.
There we go. What's the difference between a regular car wash and a classic car wash? Is it only for classic cars? Do they do something different? Is it like a 50s diner?
Well, see, I'm kind of an expert in this because there's about 17 car washes in a mile radius from my house. I would say a classic
because your town
wash,
hosts 20 car shows a year, probably.
Absolutely, at the Speedway all the time. But I would say the Classic Car Wash, there's one right near my house, like in walking distance, and they do the rag wiping dry. I think that's classic. The non-classic is the auto dryers.
Okay. Yeah.
Hand dry, classic.
What was it Ludacris said? My baby's ass out because I rubbed my car with a diaper. That's right. That's some gangster shit right there. All right. Barry, I have my first play, and it's a little bit of a
Look at us. Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought? Not me.
In race 4, the 7.5 furlong claimer, I'm playing a $5 exacta 610 with 6-8-10. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we've got ourselves a bastard distance race. I mean, in 7 furlongs is the bastard distance. Tack on the extra half furlong. That's like not knowing your daddy who doesn't know his daddy. That's a double bastard distance with a 7.5. So in this double bastard distance race, I thought it might be a good opportunity to kind of blow up the tote early with an exacta with a part wheel structure. I'm using 2 horses on top. I'm using the 6 Chiringo at 8-1 for Linda Rice. And then also going to be using the 10 Classic Car Wash, who Barry mentioned for Cassie. Then I'm wheeling into second, a third horse. It's going to be the number 8 Condemn at 8-1 for our boy Brian Hernandez Jr. for Thomas Drury. Given that this is a 7.5 furlong race with a contentious pace, I think that this race is primed for a wild finish and a wild exacta payout that I hope to have 5 times. And Chiringo had trouble last out and was claimed by Linda Rice after that race and should be forwardly placed enough to still be, and have an impact on the race. Classic Car Wash stands to get a pretty similar trip and a second off of the layout with Cassie. Basically, you said all the great things about him, so I'm just going to leave it at that. So it's a 610 with 6-8-10 Exacta for 5. Did you have any thoughts on that underneath horse, the 8 Condemn or Chiringo?
Chiringo, kind of fits the bill because Linda's pretty good first off the claim. So you got to think that horse is probably going to be live, like you said. This is a wide open race, to be honest with you. Not too many of these horses would surprise me if they won.
There we go. Well, I come rapid fire right there in the first few races here because my very next play comes in race 5. We've got 6 furlongs, $50,000 allowance on the dirt. I've got a $10 win on the number 2, and then I'm playing a $5 Exacta 2 with the 3-7. The 2 is Protege at 5-1. I think it's an excellent pace setup and a great price you get for Protege because you have relatively nondescript connections with this one trained by Sam Walensky. He's got his second race back over a track that he's never missed the Exacta on. Has the ability to sit just off the pace, and that's what makes him the most attractive to win bet in this spot. There was a bullet work on June 12th at Gulfstream Park, followed by a 37-second 3-furlong leg stretcher also at Gulfstream on the 21st, which is the ass man power move, as I like to call it. And yes, that is, we haven't said this in a while, but that's a dirty little pig boy angle.
Little pig boy.
Can I get the definition?
Little pig boy. He's that pathetic, dirty bitch baby mistress gets to stand on.
So stand all over me there with the ass man power move on the workouts. Then I'm going to press that opinion further and handicap for second and also try to convert the $5 Exacta here too with 3-7 because you should mix up your run styles when you make these vertical bets. I'm including the lukewarm chalk, the number 3 Lambo at 3-1 because I think that's the speed that holds that Protege gets up over. And then I added at a longer price the 7 Anthonian at 12-1 here. Because this is the deeper closer that will take advantage if Lambo is so expended by the early pace pressure that this one should have, tired horses to pass. It could maybe be, bringing up the rear behind my horse Protege as they hit the wire. So that's a $10 win on the number 2 Protege. And then we've got a $5 Exacta 2 with the 3-7. Barry, just take a look at race 5.
Yes. And is the 8 Honest Al or Honest AI? See, I don't know.
Ooh, that's
like an L.
That is a very good question. That is a very good question. If you ask Dale Romans, it's 100% AI.
No, the 2 looks tough in the spot. Actually, I don't think the 5-1 is going to hold.
I hope because it's Walensky and he's only had 2 starters at Churchill.
And Walensky, it always reminds me of the restaurant Smith and Walensky. It's spelled different, but
I've never heard of that restaurant in my life.
Oh, you need to look it up, sir.
Where is it?
A+. They're in a bunch of cities. It's not necessarily a chain, but they're usually in major cities. Expensive place, like Ruth Chris on steroids.
Gotcha. Ooh, and Ruth Chris's. I mean, you only find those in the finest of tribal casinos in Oklahoma. Man.
It's funny. I ate there one night with Ben Wallace when he was playing in the NBA in Boston, and we ate with his at the time assistant coach, this guy named Al Adels. He's like a legend. And this was back when I fairly just kind of stopped playing basketball. And he was asking me a billion questions about G. Remember G Jalan that played for Miami? He was asking me a ton of questions about the dude because I at the time I played over there. So it was like I knew a little bit, but I mean, he was like, "Oh, does he like to go left?" and all this other stuff, like a scouting report kind of thing. But we had a good time, and they made the rookie pay, so that was cool.
If anyone ever asks for the scouting report on me, if they ask for if he can go left, the answer is, "Oh, hell no."
It's funny because like you would think you know, in the NBA, I know people would, in their minds, think that these things are highly sophisticated, and no, it was literally like a little piece of paper. There's a bunch of blocks with guys' numbers, and they don't ever say anybody's name. It's always a number, and they're like number 12 goes left, shoots. That's it. That's the scouting report.
Yeah. No, I want to know his mama's name. I want
Right.
to know where he
That's how it was.
stays.
At least for me, that's how it was in college. We had like this sit down practice. Basically, we sat in front of a dry erase board and in a film. You know, at the time was I'm dating myself. VCR, and they pop in tapes, and then halfway between that time, it went to DVRs, like not DVRs, but DVDs. But they would rewind it like, yeah, this is what he does, and it's the whole thing. In the NBA, they just gave him a little piece of paper. This guy shoots.
No, I want a sit down and I want a slideshow that someone is just like randomly going through, and it's all the other team's relatives. And it's just like, boom, sister, big nose, boom, grandma, turkey neck, boom, it moves on. All right, we got to get going, guys, real quick. Got to get a word in from our friends at mybookie.ag, because we are brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the MLB, WNBA, golf, and of course, football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. You have easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Now, I've been talking about it a lot. Circa, their ultimate fantasy football giveaway. They're willing to give you way too much alcohol and then just pour you into a limo at some point for you and your 12-person league to draft your fantasy football league at Circa and Stadium Swim with a free tab, all sorts of stuff. Remember, it's last chance. Enter the Circa Ultimate Fantasy Football giveaway. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Circa. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. Don't forget, you can always get a 15% off at all the Circa properties with promo code SGP15. And if you excuse me, I need to get a brief rehydration interlude in.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. With your broke ass.
We're back, and what are Barry and I doing? We're giving out free picks.
And I make nothing. Zero. Zilch. By the time I pay all my scientists, all my people in my research department, lab coats, it's a wash. Well, why you do it then, baby Billy? Well, because I'm selfless.
Because we're selfless, and because we're selfless, Barry has a daily double that starts in race 8, rolls into race 9. We're talking race 8, 8 furlongs, $250,000, the Tepin Stakes on the turf. Barry, how do you kick off this daily double?
Yeah, I'm going to try to throw one downfield here. I'm basically trying to beat Lush Lips, who's probably going to be the favorite, and Vixen, who's probably going to be second choice. Vixen, I really do not like in this spot. This horse doesn't really like to finish off races, even though they both have been finishing behind Nitrogen. I still don't think that they're head and shoulders like way, way better than the horses in this race. And I think there might be a little bit of an upset in the making. So I'm going to take in my $5 daily doubles starting here, the 1 Fixing to Be and the 2 Something Stronger. Now, Fixing to Be, I think the last 2 races, they were just at the wrong distance. They won 1 mile and 3/16 and then 1 mile and 1/8. I think this horse is more of a miler. Runs better at that distance, even though they did win at 1 mile and 3/16. I still don't think that's their best distance. So the cutback makes a lot of sense here, and will probably be running hard late. Something Stronger ran a real bang-up race first time on the turf, even though they were going 5 furlongs. They're stretching out to 1 mile here, which makes a lot of sense. This horse is out of Justify and a Frankel mare, so this horse should handle the stretch out pretty easily. And the buyer progression from this horse's race on December 26th to May 15th was just too much for me to ignore. And I think this horse can sit a really good trip in this race also. There's enough speed where this horse can be close enough to the pace, but not right on it to make the run and kind of get similar trip to what they got in that first race on the turf. So we're going to use the 1 and the 2 to start off this $5 pick 3.
There we go. And it rolls into race 9, which is 6.5 furlongs, the $250,000 Kelly's Landing, which sounds like a dollar store Dawson's Creek. Grade 3 on the dirt. I've got to play here, but Barry, how are you rounding out your daily double?
Yeah, I thought, this is really setting up to be a suicidal pace up front between Dr. Venkman, Booth, Roll On Big Joe, and probably Otto the Conqueror also. They're going to be lining up trying to get position, try to get to the front. That being said, the 3 outside horses, the 6 Happy as a Choice, Red Flag, the 7, and the 8 Durante should be lining up right behind them. I'm going to use the 6 Happy as a Choice, who arguably his best race has come at Churchill Downs. Ran down the field September 14th for 104 buyer and really seems to like this track. Although the last 2 races here weren't all that spectacular, I think the horse kind of didn't get the best trips in those races and does a lot better when this horse is closer to the pace. And I think this horse can kind of get the jump on the other 2 closers, the 7 and the 8. But I'm also going to use the 8 Durante out of the Jacobson barn. He's really picking up momentum down there at Churchill. Picks up Jose Ortiz for this race, who's arguably the hottest jockey in the country. They won at Aristides, the grade 3 last time. Falls into this spot, should get an excellent trip in the Kelly's Landing. So we're going to use the 6 and the 8 to close out this daily double.
Well, Barry, a path to diverge in a snowy wood, and we opted for different directions here because I've got to play here. It's a $10 exacta. I'm keying a horse, and it's a horse that you're against. I am using one of your horses underneath, however. It's the one, Dr. Venkman from Mark Glatt. This opinion was a little bit chalky, though I am taking a swing on top by not using the 3 Booth, who's won 7 of 11 starts as my winner. So instead, I'm using the number 1 Venkman at 5-2, who I think is actually going to be able to sit just a little bit off of the pace battle early that Booth, would undoubtedly take the worst of because he's facing a lot of other kind of need the lead type horses that will be full send to beat Booth to the punch. And that leaves Dr. Venkman, who's trained by Mark Glatt, who flies in Antonio Frizu to ride this horse, sitting chilly behind a 3-way pace duel that includes Booth. He's got a history of firing second off the layoff and winning, and the speed figure first off the layoff is higher than any other first off performance he's put out. So a similar step forward in a second off the layoff performance would make him very competitive. And underneath you use Booth because you have to as the speed that's most likely to hold the longest. And with the Booth, I include the 6 Happy as a Choice at a big 10-1 price that should be moving late with Dr. Venkman, but from a little bit deeper. So we don't necessarily disagree. We just kind of disagree. How's that make you feel?
Really good.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's the way to think about it. I like it. All right, Barry. We roll on to race 10. You've got a win bet and a daily double here. I've just got a win bet, so I'm going to go ahead and lead it off. 8.5 furlongs, $500,000 Wise Dan Stakes, grade 2 on the turf. I've got a $10 win bet here, and it's going to be on the number 6, Taking Candy, 8-1. I stayed away from turf races until we hit the turf stakes races because there's a slight risk of weather at Churchill Downs, and I feel like this race probably stays on the turf even if it gets a little wet out there. And Taking Candy is in for Cherie DeVoe and gets IRAD up in this race, and this 5-year-old horse would be sitting chilly behind what I see as a weak-hearted speed with the number 4 Mercante, and I think that the peloton lets Mercante run free on the front end. And the 6 Taking Candy is the horse that wins the cavalry charge once the 4 starts to come back to the field and then the actual race starts. Taking Candy had been consistently performing until having trouble last out, and I think that's giving you a little bit of value here, though you might end up paying the IRAD tax in the win pool, if we're calling a spade here. So in 3 appearances at Churchill Downs, Taking Candy, 1-0-1. So we got a little bit of a horse for course here, and DeVoe and IRAD are a strong tandem. So I'm the $10 win bet here on the 6, Taking Candy. Barry, you've got a win bet. Where are you going?
Yeah, my win bet is going on number 3, Mi Hermano Ramon. This horse got nipped last time in the Shoemaker Mile by King of Gosford, and by all means, it was kind of a lucky head bob that King of Gosford got. But Mi Hermano Ramon came off the bench from a layoff from March 1st, May 26th, ran a huge race, and I think he can come back and run really big here. Everything sets up for him. He doesn't need to be too far off the pace. I don't think this pace is going to be too strong. And Fresu in for the ride. I think this is the one they want the most. So we're going to do a $20 win bet on Mi Hermano Ramon. But I also have a $10 daily double using Mi Hermano Ramon, and also who I think is the lone speed here, Seminole Chief. McConte really, in my estimation, doesn't really want the lead. Would take it if it's there, but I don't think that's their goal. They don't really want it. You can see in his past performances, kind of likes to stalk, sit second, maybe a little bit, and kind of have a target to run at. I don't think he's effective on the lead, and I don't think they want it. That leaves everything open for a horse like Seminole Chief, who should go to the lead with Luis Saez. 20-1 is an excellent price. I doubt we'll get it. Might get somewhat of a longer price, but I think it'd be a stretch to get 20-1. But this horse, if this horse gets the lead and controls the pace, it might be curtains. So we're going to use that one in the daily double. Also, I didn't think Taking Candy was in the right spot. This horse hasn't won without Lasix, and that's really concerning in this race, because I don't think this horse can come back in a race like this and win without Lasix first time in a grade 2. And this horse really hasn't shown the affinity to really be effective in these sort of spots, and especially without Lasix. So yeah, I'm really down on Taking Candy. So we're just going to use Mi Hermano Ramon, the 3, and the 9 Seminole Chief to move on.
There we go. And your opinion on Taking Candy is just like your opinion, man. Race 11, 9 furlongs, $1 million. The Stephen Foster Stakes. Barry, I've got a daily double starting here. You got one closing out. What's the play?
Mind Frame all day. I like this horse quite a bit. He's the most talented horse in this race. Has yet to run a bad race. Can give it to you going 1.25 miles, 7 furlongs, 7.5 furlongs, 1.125 miles, whatever you want. Mind Frame's going to do it for you. Has a target if they need one. Can be on the lead if nobody wants it. I mean, there's really not much to knock on Mind Frame, especially in this race. Skippy Longstockings coming out of really, really soft races, as he usually does. Sierra Leone has some question marks since that Fairgrounds debacle in the New Orleans Classic. Mystic Dan, I have no confidence in that horse, although he's running well.
I literally never know what Mystic Dan is going to do ever.
Yeah, he
literally does the opposite of everything that I think he's going to do.
Hit Show, I think, wants to go longer. If this was 1.25 miles, I'd be all over Hit Show. Ashcroft just has no shot. And First Mission, it's a tough read in this race because they're going to have to go to the lead, and I don't really think they want to. So there we go. And I just think Mind Frame is doing well. Ran a nice race at Churchill last time. Has run well both times at Churchill. So that will continue. So we're going to close it out with Mind Frame.
There you go. Well, Barry, real quick, we've got Junior Mafia popping off in the chat. Armando Garcia says you guys are the best. And
hey, what's up,
Armando? We thank you
for real. Watching. Thanks for watching,
man. Yeah, man. It's people like you that helped us get to 401. Boom. All right, guys, real quick. I've got a play coming in the in the Stephen F. Foster that I'm gonna daily double here. But real quick, got to get a word in from our good friends at Underdog, because Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. And Underdog is also a great place to play Pick'em. Sign up with promo code SGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. And we're also brought to you, of course, by the good nerds at Rhythm. You've heard us talk about Rhythm before, and they just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets. Download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. You know we will be. Get your 7-day free trial, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And if you excuse me, I need to get a brief rehydration interlude in.
Yo, I just bought a dinosaur like Nicolas Cage. Hey, what happened? Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on?
All right, Barry. I'm making my strongest play of the day here in the feature, the Stephen Foster. I've got a $20 win on the number one first mission. And then I've got a $10 daily double, 1-2 with the 8. And I think you're getting a fantastic price on a horse with a trainer that seems like he wins everything in Kentucky for owners who have been winning absolutely everything all over the fucking world right now. Go Dolphin, because that my Dolphin. Brad puts in first mission, who's being overlooked because your Breeders' Cup Classic champion Sierra Leone, trained by Chad Brown, is also entered. And the problem I've always had with Sierra Leone is that the horse is a dead closer and needs the setup. And I think first mission sits much closer to the pace than Sierra Leone will, and it's going to inherently have the best opportunity to hold off Sierra Leone late. And I'm not going to split hairs. Instead, I'm going to put my strongest win bet on first mission. I've got a horse in the next race that I want to keep. So I'm going to spread out too wide in this leg of the daily double to try to beat Sierra Leone and be singled in the finale with my two horses in this leg. And that's going to be the number 2 Mind Frame. I mean, it's a horse.
Those two are going to be flip-flopped in the wagering, right?
Oh, probably.
Sierra Leone is not going to be the favorite. He's going to be third choice.
You think it's going to be first mission?
No. Mind Frame's going to be favored.
You think
probably like 2-1-ish. And first mission will probably be second choice at 5-2, and then Sierra Leone probably a third choice at probably about 4-1.
I kind of thought people were just going to draw a line through the sloppy, the last race, I guess it was at, I can't remember if it was sloppy or not now at Fairgrounds. They're just going to say it was the first off and just kind of draw a line through it. But you might be right. You're usually more right around to where the final pools will end up. But yeah.
And then they have Mystic Dan at 3-1, and he's going to be, probably around 9-2, 5-1 ish, and then Hit Show is probably going to be what he is in the form.
Dude, knowing one of the Mystic Dan's owners like I do, that horse.
Think they're going to bet? Yeah,
they're going to bet.
I hope so.
Yeah, we'll see. I say that, but now Mystic Dan is going to win because I don't think he's going.
He's popular. I mean, he's a Derby winner, so you never know.
I the other day when we were dropping off Madeline, I'll try to get a picture of it next time we're driving by. But one of the owner's farms that's just outside of Little Rock is there, and it's got Mystic Dan stuff all over it.
Nice, with the green and black.
Yeah, the green and black.
Sharp.
4G. Yeah.
I like their silks are sharp. I like that.
But all right, back to Mind Frame. Okay. It's last year as a 3-year-old, I thought he was just kind of super green. And I think it kind of cost him some really big victories in some very big races. But I was so encouraged by what I saw on Derby Day with the Churchill Downs Stakes. Because it looks like maybe the penny dropped a little bit for Mind Frame. He might have it all between the ears combined with the physical talent that he obviously has. So I'm with Barry on mine for him. I think you have to include it, especially in a daily double. So first leg of my daily double there is the 1-2. And I guess, Barry, we've made it to the portion of the show where we hold back, we savor our most juiciest morsels for you for the last race of the day, so you can leave with a little bit of profit in your pocket, because the last half of my daily double is my bailout bet.
I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
So, race 12, 8.5 furlongs, $250,000, the American Derby Stakes. This one's non-graded on the turf. I mean, they're wrapping up a card with the race going 8.5. And like I always said, I get bullied for thinking every sprint race will break down. But the real shameful shit that I do is think that every single turf race is going to get wired. So same shit here. I think that the 8, Freedom's Not Free at 7-2, could be the horse that, runs a little bit of a West Coast style turf race, gets out to the front and just leaves them behind here once again. Dude, if Mark Glad has a good day, we are going to Sizzler. We're team Steam Urchin is team Glatt and Frezu here. But I thought that the early speed will be too much to surmount for the rest of this field. So Frezu hopefully gets up front, slows it down, walks the dog, finishes up my daily double with that particular single.
Yes, I'm singing. I want to mingle.
You want to mingle?
Yeah.
My bailout bet is, of course, just the win bet on the 8. Freedom's Not Free. Barry, you've got your last action in this race / a bailout bet. Do it.
Yep. We're going with number 9, Giacoso, to the hoop, my friend. This horse has some excuses. Since his November 8th run at Churchill, where he won an allowance race, non-win as a 2, and beat a decent horse in Papiamento that day. Came back in the Risen Star, lost to Magnitude pretty badly. This horse isn't a dirt horse. Then they tried the horse in the Jeff Ruby Stakes and ran like a turf horse on the dirt, which is interesting because usually what they do is they'll make one sustained run and flatten out late and fade. And that's exactly what he did. Then they get the horse into the American turf on Derby Day, runs a pretty good race despite having a lot of trouble being wide a lot of the race. Ben Curtis tried to, do the best he could. And the horse didn't run all that badly behind Zulu Kingdom, who's running the Penn Mile on Friday. Now, horse didn't get the best of post position draws this time, but I think the class relief into this race makes a huge difference. I mean, in this spot, American Zulu would probably be like 3 to 5. Zulu Kingdom, sorry, American Zulu. Zulu Kingdom would be probably about 3 to 5. So the way this horse ran and the ground loss and all that jazz puts this horse right in the mix with everything. And at 10-1, I couldn't resist. So we're going to go $20 to win on number 9, Giacoso, which is also the bailout.
Nice. I like it. There was a point. All right. So 2 things about Giacoso. 1, there are 2 ways to tell that someone is a degen. One is that you look at their weather app and you see what locations they have starred, and 2 is their autocorrects on their phone. For example, when I type in the letters DES, the option to autofill with DeSormo comes up, and it makes me feel really bad about myself. And how are you going to play all coy with the Ben Curtis love, dog? We know we love Ben Curtis.
That's my man's. Yeah.
He is
my guy.
He is indeed our man's. All right. Barry, you're all in. You've given us your bailout bet, which was part. I went, dug a little deeper for a little extra bailout bet. No big deal. Barry, how do you feel about? Whoa.
Hey.
That was a lot. That was a lot of me on screen, and I don't think we need any of that. Barry, how do you feel about recapping picks?
We got to do it, my friend.
It's mandatory, Barry, because of how numbers in the alphabet work. Take it, my man.
All right. So, first bet, is the $20 win bet on number 10, Classic Car Wash, in race number 4. Going to race number 8, $5 daily double. Number 1, Fixing to Be, and number 2, Something Stronger. With, in race 9, number 6, Happy's a Choice, and number 8, Durante. Race 10, $20 win bet on number 3, Mi Hermano Ramon. $10 daily doubles starting in race 10, Mi Hermano Ramon, number 3, and number 9, Seminole Chief, with number 2, Mind Frame in the Stephen F. Foster. And then race 12, our bailout bet, $20 to win on number 9, Giacoso. And we're getting money. We're getting money.
And if you were paying attention to the screen, especially the right portion of it, then you got to see that those are legitimate Barry Notebook picks too. Boom.
Saw that?
I did. I saw the notebook creep up. Yeah. Don't let it happen again. No big deal. But here we go. Race 4 for me, $5 Exacta. 610 with the 6-8-10. Race 5, $10 win on the number 2 and a $5 Exacta. We're going 2 with 3-7. Race 10, we've got a $10 win on number 6, who Barry hates. Race 11, we've got on number 1 and a $10 daily double. 1-2 with the 8. That's it. That's the big show. We got it done. Barry, how you feeling? I'm
feeling good. We made it. Like I actually was here and I did the show. What is going on?
Yeah, man. I at the end I made Matthew DeSantis say nice things about me, but I made sure to make Sarah El Badwi say nice things, or sorry, El Badwi say nice things about you. So it even out. There's a lot of pleasantries.
That's good.
Matthew almost made me cry, man. It was tough. Dude, it was very heartfelt.
I met Sarah in person for the first time in April. So
she said her mind was blown by how tall you are.
I don't understand that. I tell everybody I play basketball.
Play professional basketball. You're a tall guy.
I'm not super tall or anything, but
you realize that we're gonna be like an Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito twins situation, right?
Yeah, I can't believe. Well, I guess I mean, people have seen pictures of me though, so I didn't think I projected as somebody that would be short, But
you just need me to put you to scale in photographs. They'll be like, my God, he must be 7 foot. All right, guys, that's it. Those are our picks. I want to proudly report that I am through the first leg of the most $8-iest pick 5 ticket ever made.
Where
at Backwaduct.
Okay.
It was 2 by 2 by 1 by 1 by 4. I'm calling it a Wembanyama because it's all skinny and it's got big feet. You see, all skinny with big feet. See what I'm talking about? That's the Wembanyama.
It looked like Tetris, like the Tetris piece.
If we get the 1 or 5 in the next leg, I am singled to a 20-1 shot in the maiden claimer in race 6 named Jackpot Julie. So let's get
Julie.
it.
All right.
Let's get
That's a good name. That's actually a good name.
Yeah. Very, very well done. All right, guys, that's it for us here at the Notorious OTB. We'll be back. We'll be doing our most consequential mama show ever because we're not looking for singles to put on our mamas. We're looking at Sunday's Churchill Downs mandatory payout pick 6. Barry and I will each have a single for that pick 6 sequence that we say we put on our mamas. Barry, that's it for us. I already know what we're going to ride out on. We will catch you next time. Bye.
Can I make my phone call? Do I